Goji-Fi. So, welcome to the detailed unboxing and first impressions of the KBEar 𝗟𝗁. So, this is a review unit provided to us by Keephifi. So, thank you very much to 𝗟𝗁 for your continued support for this page and channel. So, here's the box. I'm not sure if this is the final packaging of the 𝗟𝗁 because this was sent to me as a early review unit. So, but if it is, I still don't know what price range it will come at. But it's a modest type of packaging for a modest type of IEM inside of it. So if you open up, this opens up like a flap, and here you go. We are presented with the faceplate of the 𝗟𝗁. It's not legitimate grills. They're like just printed grills, and there's like a small hole or vent at the center of it. So it looks like from my first impressions of the build of the 𝗟𝗁, it kind of reminds me of the 𝗟𝗏 ES series. So it's small, and I feel this will insert very deeply into the ear canal when you use it. So here's the bottom of the box. So it's also important to note that this is not a detachable cable, so it's fixed. And here's it's kind of hard to unbox it because here we go. And here's the cable. Seems like a modest. It follows the theme of modesty in this entire package. So the cable, it's not bad, but it's not great. It's definitely thick enough for daily usage. So here's I've got the one with a mic in it and a button to answer calls or pause and play music. So here's the tips. We are presented with 3 pairs of tips: small, medium, and large. And this seemed to be a balanced pair of tips, so it isn't narrow or wide. And last at the package is the user guide. So yeah, it's a typical budget stuff. I think if I'll be guessing right, this will come at under 20 or even around the $10 range, judging from its build and packaging and all the accessories that comes with it. So yeah, I will transition to my first impressions. Here's my impressions of the KBEar 𝗟𝗁. So I have dubbed this one early when I got the news that I will review this. I am a little boy that does, and certainly from hearing the IEM for a few minutes, this is certainly a little boy that does. So for the overall tonality, it's a warm/bassy IEM, but despite that bassy connotation that sometimes can be attributed to V-shaped IEMs, so it can be considered as a love child between a V-shape and a U-shaped sound. So it's a relaxed listen, but it retains the fun when the song needs it. So it scales also very well with additional power coming from a DAP like this one, my 𝗟𝗏 Mark III. So it scales very nicely. The overall sound opens up without much distortion. So for the bass, it's definitely the star of this IEM, without a doubt. So it resonates and literally rumbles well due to the deeper ear insertion. As you can see with the IEM right here, it's shaped like an 𝗟𝗏, so it will really insert down your ear canal very deeply if you want it to. But if you can see the tips, you have the option to change its tips if you want a more narrow or shallower insertion. So it punches, and the bass punches and kicks with a definitive boom. So if you like boomy bass, this one is for you. So bass heads will definitely get their kick out of this, but can result to the bass bleeding into the mid-range. So I'll tackle that bass frequencies bleeding into the mid-range later, but yeah, it does have an amount. I will not say slightly because it has a tactile bass bleed to it, but it's not to the point that it's annoying. So the bass also offers somewhat of a control through tip rolling. So if you prefer a deeper insertion with smaller size tips, the KBEar 𝗵𝘁 will become bassier. So it will literally not rumble inside your ear canal. So if you prefer a shallower insertion, which I do, so I changed these ear tips come from the 𝗟𝗁 mainly. So this is a medium balanced tips. So I didn't the ones included in the package are included here, but it's my preference. There's a similarly sized tip included in the package, which you will see in the full review. So for going back, for a shallower insertion, it has a more controlled punch. It still has that boomy bass, but it somewhat retains a control to it rather than with a deeper insertion. So for the mid-range, it's the #1 surpriser of this IM because of its smoothness. My expectations were, to be honest, were low because of its boomy bass, but which is always attributed to a V-shaped sound. So it's the common stereotype if you have a boomy bass, but this 𝗵𝘁 does not go to the stereotypes that boomy bass has for it. So it has a smoother mid-range listen despite its boomy bass. So although it's not as meaty or overtly musical as more natural IEMs, it still offers a certain level of smoothness and resolution that will keep instruments in that range satisfied. So as said before, the bass frequencies has the tendency to overpower the mids, but not to an annoying level. So yeah, expect your mid-range to be somewhat smooth, but also expect for the bass to sometimes creep into the mid-range, especially when you're listening to more modern tracks with for example 808 kicks that really punch through in the sub-bass and mid-bass region. And if that's accompanied with a vocal line, you'll expect the vocal line to be somewhat recessed by the overpowering bass. So for the treble frequencies, it's relaxed and non-peaky. So it's definitely a performer when it comes to longer hours of usage. So it won't pierce your ears with spiky treble. It has good body, but due to its relaxed nature, lacks shimmer. So if you prefer your listening moods to be longer and more sustained, so the 𝗵𝘁 will be for you, because you can listen to this for hours and your ears would not be fatigued by that listening time. So for the soundstage, as expected for deeper insertion IEMs, it's pretty intimate but not too in your face. So you can control this aspect through changing the ear tip. So going for a more shallower insertion will result into the 𝗵𝘁 having more soundstage to it. Although it still retains that in your face soundstage, it opens up not too big, but will open up around 20%. So another surpriser for this IEM is its imaging. So it's I would say this, it is excellent. So all of the tuning decisions gave way for the imaging to be rather and above its price range performer. So I may seem like I'm hyping it, but the imaging of the 𝗵𝘁 is really something else. It's a surprising listen for me, as I expected that this bullet type budget IEMs sometimes underperforms in that range, but in the little Q it's rather excellent, really excellent case for it. So yeah, that's my first impressions of the KBEar little Q. It's definitely a little boy that does. So stay tuned for the full review. So goodbye, Goji out.